Brent Daniels Real Estate Live Show. We've got an incredible show for you today. We've got Tom Kroll coming up in about 30 minutes to give all the business wisdom. We've got both of my acquisition managers, my junior acquisition manager, Chad Coulter, who all day, every day is taking inbound leads, pre-qualifying the property owners and sending them either to our retail team of real estate agents or to Ryan and Joshua, my acquisition team, for our wholesale deals. So he's going to be talking about all the discovery that he does on those initial calls, which is really, really, really important when you guys are starting to get some inbound leads, whether it be direct mail, whether it be paper lead, whether it be pay-per-click, whether it be bandit signs, whatever it is that you're doing to get inbound leads or referrals. Actually, referrals are a phenomenal inbound lead. He's going to show you exactly how to be really, really, really professional at that and really efficient at that and really understand, is this somebody that's going to do business with us or not? And then my closer, you know him, you love him, Ryan Thornton, the handsomest guy in real estate, is going to be here in about an hour and a half, and he's going to be talking about all the challenges that he's seeing out there right now, currently in the field all day, every day. He's going on appointments, meeting with property owners. So you're going to get all of that expertise. And by the way, he's been doing that for the last 4 years. He's been with me 4 years now. So he's got 48 months of experience to dump into your brains today so that you can download it, access it, and start implementing it into your business. But I wanted to start with this. This is going to be my soapbox talk for the day. And I think that this is going to be one of the most important live shows that we've ever done, because I think that we have to, I know that with 20 years experience, I want to cut through all the BS. I want to cut through all the fluff. I want to cut through all the funnels. I want to cut through all of the Instagram life. I want to cut right to the chase on what it takes to be successful as a real estate wholesaler. And there's 10 no BS facts about wholesaling real estate that we're going to go through in the first section of this show. And as I go through this, guys, take a screenshot of this if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're just listening to this on the podcast, make sure you go to the Brent Daniels YouTube channel and take a picture of this so that you have it everywhere, so that you can recognize it and you understand what it takes to really win in this. Not only just to do a deal here and there, not just to go full time and make, 70, 80, 100,000 a year, 150,000 a year, but to really take your business to the next level, really move from the cash flow quadrant, right, that we learn in Rich Dad Poor Dad and in the cash flow quadrant in his follow-up book to Rich Dad Poor Dad. There's employees and self-employed, and then there's business owners and investors. And employees and self-employed have to trade time for money. That's an absolute fact. Self-employed are people that build a specialized skill, okay? A specialized skill. And our specialized skill is finding, sourcing, communicating with distressed property owners, putting those properties under contract, and then finding an investor that wants to replace us in that contract, and we assign it and we earn a assignment fee. That is a specialized skill. The specialized skill in wholesaling truly is finding discounted properties, okay? But there's to move over to the business side, to start firing yourself from the business, you have to really implement these 10 no BS facts about wholesaling real estate so that you can be on that right side, that you don't have to trade time for money. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope so. So let's crack this open. Number one, wholesaling real estate is the lowest paid easy work and the highest paid hard work you can do in real estate. Let me say that again. Wholesaling real estate is the lowest paid easy work and the highest paid hard work you can do in real estate. Listen, if you want this to be easy, if you just want to send out some automated messages, if you just want to do a little bit of lead generation here and there, let people know that you buy houses, you can do some business. It's just not going to be a lot. You're not going to get paid. You're not going to get paid the way that you would if you really put in the discipline, if you really build the systems and really build the skills required for this business. What are the skills? Lead generation, converting those leads into a signed agreement, and selling those deals to a cash buyer, right? And in those skills, lead generation is inbound lead, outbound leads, and referrals, right? Prospecting, door knocking, and cold calling. When we're starting out and we have a low budget, that's where we have to live. Building that skill of doing that day in and day out, going through the repetitious boredom every single day of trying to have a good quality conversation with the property owner that will convert into a signed agreement, or knocking on the doors. Door knocking has exploded in the last 6 months, especially with pre-foreclosures. So if you don't have a huge budget and you want to take massive imperfect action, that's a great place to start. Okay. And then you get into marketing. Marketing is the skill of making sure that you get a return on the risk that you have investing into marketing channels, and really making sure that when those leads come in, you're doing everything possible to pre-qualify them, to do your lead follow-up, and to your offer presentations. These are all the skills. We have a 17 skills, well, 10 really that I break down, 10 skills that you can rate yourself on. Maybe we can throw this up later in the show and put it in there, but really building those skills. So guys, it's not going to be easy. It's not, this business is going to challenge you to the very core. It's going to challenge everything that you know, everything that you have built, everything, all the momentum that you have as an entrepreneur. It's going to challenge you, because there's going to be great days and there's going to be horrible days. There's going to be high emotional days. There's going to be low emotional days. There's going to be days where you're going to want to expand your business, and that's going to challenge you on so many different leadership levels. But wholesaling real estate is the lowest paid easy work and the highest paid hard work you can do in real estate. All right. Number 2, this one is going to punch you in the gut. This one at some point is going to get you. Please put in the chat if somebody has already said this to you. I get this on a weekly basis, and I've gotten this on a weekly basis since I started wholesaling in 2013. People will say, you steal equity from uninformed homeowners. People will say that to you, and it's going to make you feel like a scumbag. It's going to make you feel like, wait a second, am I taking advantage of people? Are these deals that I'm going out and finding, is it better if I just refer them to a real estate agent and let them know, or refer them to an appraiser to see all the comparables of their property and to see what the most they can get for their property? That is one of the most selfish views I can imagine. And trust me, I have been a real estate agent for a long time. Fiduciary duty is key. Getting the most and doing the best for your clients was something that was pounded into my brain since day one in this business. And I will tell you with all conviction that if we hallucinate and we assume we know what is best for that property owner, we are doing a huge disservice, because the fact is there's speed, convenience, and price, and the sellers only get 2. It is a huge risk to buy a property without an inspection. It is a huge risk to buy a property as is. It is a huge risk to buy a property cash. It is a huge risk to invest in contractors to fix up that property. It is a huge risk for all of those things. It's a huge risk to take on a project that's going to take you 90 to 180 days, because we know the winds of real estate change all the time. So all those people that are out there elevated on their high morality of they know what's best for every single property owner, it is bullshit. They don't know. You don't know what's best for a property owner until you ask them, until you have a conversation with them, until you understand what is most important to that property owner. So when people say you steal equity from uninformed homeowners, you need to realize this right here. I'm going to put it up here. I can't tell you what you should sell your house for. I can only tell you how much I can pay. That is the most truth. That is the most honest. That is the most real response that you can give to any property owner. Because the truth is, buyers determine value, not the seller, not an appraiser, not the government, not banks, none of that. Ready, willing, and able buyers. And I am telling you, this was never more evident than when it crashed. When properties I saw that I had sold as an agent went from 500,000 in January of 2008 to worth 240,000 in January 2010. In a 2-year period, that much decrease. Why? Because the buyers disappeared. The economy was in shambles. Ready, willing, and able buyers determine the value. That is it. We can never force somebody to take an offer. We can only do our discovery process and see, are they looking to trade price for speed and convenience? So that number 2, people will say you steal equity from uninformed homeowners. That is an ignorant statement. That is a wildly ignorant statement. And if people want to sit on their high morals and go in and say, hey, listen, this is how much you can get if you put 40, 50, 60,000 into repairing this house, you can get full market value. You can get that Zillow value. You can get the highest amount for this property, but it's going to take considerable investment into the house. You're going to have to keep this house open. You're going to have to clean it all up. And then let them know the price. Do it. We do this all the time. What do you think the property's worth? Right here. I'll tell you right. I got this locked and loaded for you guys. It's right here. What we tell people. You find out these numbers. Totally fixed up. What do you think the property's worth? And how much would you budget to make this house perfect? You find out those numbers and you're doing a great job. It's all about the discovery. What is best for this property owner based on what they tell you, not based on your perceived? Yeah, your perceived notion of what's best for them. So be steadfast in the fact that what we do is we solve the problems of property owners that want a private sale. They want a cash offer. They don't want heavy inspections and a whole list of things that need to be repaired because they're not going to fix them anyway. They need their money right now. We have a deal. That's closing on the 18th. They need their money on the 18th. They need this money right away. And they just called us last week. They need to close this cash, get everything going through title and escrow, and they need to close it because they need money to be able to afford some medical situation. We wouldn't know that without discovery. But if we go, well, the best thing to do is put $30,000, $40,000 into this property, get it list ready, put it on the market so that every real estate agent can come and bring all their buyers through it, and you can get full market value because somebody's going to be able to get a loan. Guys, the properties we work with, they can't get loans. They're destroyed. There is risk involved. When there's risk involved, the reward has to be higher. So I will challenge anybody, any real estate agent, any attorney, anybody that has this statement right here. You steal equity from uninformed homeowners. It's impossible to do. It's just not possible. You're just going to get people, you're going to trick somebody that has no idea the value of their property into taking this low offer when you ask them how much would they want for their property and they give you a price. That's what we do. Number 3, you have to work daily on removing self-imposed limits we place on ourselves. 3 beautiful words here. Erase the past. Erase the past. I didn't grow up wealthy. I didn't grow up in a real estate family. I didn't grow up with business owners as parents. I didn't grow up in an environment where they told me I was great. I'm insecure. I have self-doubt. We have to work daily on removing that. The number one way to do that is build skills. Skills equal strong mindset. When you know you're good at something, you're not worried about it. It's unconscious. Your brain has the pathways to go and deliver on what you're trying to do without you having to even think about it. Well, a little bit. There's some conscious, but most of it is subconscious. We have to work daily on removing self-imposed limits. We need to erase the past. If it's like one of those little Etch-a-Sketch things, where you turn the little knobs and the thing moves and you can make all sorts of crazy designs, take that damn Etch-a-Sketch, which is your past, and just shake it up, make it clear. Because we're just hallucinating again. I'm going to say hallucinating a lot in this. I love it. It's my word of the show. But I mean, we just think about the things that happened in our past, and that's going to prevent us from taking action now, which is going to give us the benefit of the future. Can't let that happen. We got to erase the past. I screwed up. I lost everything. I lost everything in 2008, 2009. I had 2 cars repoed from my driveway. I foreclosed on 5 properties. I got a judgment slapped on me for an office lease that I couldn't afford anymore. So at 28 years old, I owed $740,000 on an office lease. My credit score was as low as you could possibly imagine. I gave back a ton of credit cards that I'd used for the business. Ego was destroyed. Humility was at an all-time high. And I'll tell you what, it took me years. It took me probably 36 months, 3 years to really get to the point where I started erasing that. I held on to it. I wore it. I wore it like a backpack filled with rocks. It was just weighing me down. I fell into a bottle. I was like a bar fly for a couple years, drinking every night, going out, just doing anything to numb all of the experiences that I had because I had thought that I was going to just win and always be a winner. And life hit me in the face. But if I stayed that way, there's no way I would have built the business that I have. There's no way I would have be around the incredible people that you're going to see on the show today. There's no way. You got to erase the past. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve us. Number 4, every day, be prepared to throw away your unqualified leads. Let me say this very clearly. Leads are worthless. Only signed agreements have value. Until we get to that point, we got to push to be around people that have the possibility of doing business with us. As you're going into the new year, or if you're watching this anytime in the future, I hope you are, get rid of anybody that is not qualified. Anybody that's not communicating with you, anybody that doesn't have a timeline. If there's no timeline, get rid of them. Get rid of them. Because it's just clogging up your system. And the problem that we have with too many leads is it reduces our urgency to generate more leads. Because we're like, oh my gosh, I got this whole database of leads. It's going to start popping. It's going to be going. I'm doing all this lead follow-up. I'm busy, but not productive. Get rid of unqualified leads as soon as possible. Get them out of there. Would you consider an offer on your property? Whenever you ask that, there's only 6 responses. Would you consider an offer on your property? Yes, no, maybe in the future. How much will you give me? Who are you? And how'd you get my number? Typically, only 5 responses or 4 responses if it's inbound. But those 2 responses, number 3 and number 4, maybe in the future. And how much will you give me? Though that is quicksand, guys. That is a trap. That's going to keep you locked in to that lead because you have hope that it's going to convert to income. That how much will you give me is just somebody fishing, right? Sometimes it works, but for the most part, people are fishing. And the maybe in the future, maybe I'm going to sell in the future. I don't want maybes. I need to have definites. I need people. A lead, by the way, by definition, is somebody that has made the decision they're going to sell their property. That's what a lead actually is. Throw them away. Number 5, start on a personal development program for yourself. I love this. I was going through this last night and I was putting it together and I had like 8 or 10 and then I boiled it down to these 4. Number 1, Tom Kroll says it every week on here, read great books. When you can sit down with brilliant minds for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, you get smarter. It's just a fact. They used to keep people from reading books because it was so powerful. There was a censorship on learning to read forever and ever, whether it be the powers that be, whether it be the church at the time, whether it be whatever. They wanted to keep it because they understood how powerful it is. Make sure that you're reading great books. Number 2, surround yourself with people doing more than you. You have to surround yourself with people doing more than you. That's why I join masterminds. That's why I join mentorships. That's why I join and connect with people, because I pay for the right to be in a group where everybody paid to be in that group. 1, because there's a higher likelihood that they're looking to get a return on their investment, which means that they've taken more risk, which means that they are more committed. That's just a fact, guys. That's the benefit of coaching. That's the benefit of going to college. That's the benefit of higher education. That's what that is. I spent this year, I just looked it up, it was $78,000 this year on coaching and mentorship. Worth every penny. Getting a quadruple to 10x return every time. Because I implement fast. Third part of this, start a people reading program. Oh, I love this one. This one we don't talk about enough. There's 4 personality types: driver, analytical, amiable, and expressive. Driver, analytical, amiable, expressive. Driver is like your no nonsense, go after Donald Trump type. Analytical is like your engineer. I need to have facts and figures to figure things out. Amiable is that sweet auntie yours that is just the absolute best, or your mom or your grandma or your dad or your uncle, just the sweetest person. They just want everybody to feel good. They just, if they could hug the world, they could. And expressive, you're looking at one, right? An expressive, somebody that's out there, they're loud, they're doing these things. Do a people reading program, because if you understand the way that people communicate, you can change your interaction with them. And then you get to understand who you want to surround yourself with. And then you get to understand who you want to build your company around and with. I want an analytical being my lead manager because they're detail oriented. I am not. I want my acquisition managers to be expressive drivers. They want to win. They're going to win, but they have a high capacity to say a lot of words every day, right? I want customer service to be somebody that's amiable, that always wants everybody to feel great, and that any issue that comes up, they take it personally and they want to solve that. Start a people reading program. There's an incredible book called Versatile Selling. It's very dry. It's very thin. You can get through it in a couple hours. I literally highlighted, and it's probably the most highlighted book I have. 80% of that book is highlighted. That's how gangster that book is. You can get it on Amazon. Versatile Selling. Learn to have better self-talk. How are you talking to yourself? Are you saying you can't do it? Is the self-doubt creeping in? Or are you powerful? Are you standing on your 2 feet? Are you standing on business, as the kids say, right, Luke? Yeah, Luke's yelling from the booth. You know what I mean? Self-talk. I am great. I am kind. I am confident. I am curious. I have certainty. I have likability. I can do this. I am powerful. All these things help. Affirmations truly help. That's been proven by science. Number 6, knowledge equals confidence. Ignorance equals fear. Learn to comp. Learn to understand the values of properties. Learn to understand, is this a deal or no deal? Because the knowledge of that is going to give you confidence. That confidence is going to have you go in and get more agreements signed and be able to serve those sellers more and serve those buyers better. Learn to comp. Learn this business. Learn to recognize value. That is how you level up in the real estate game. It's all about who can recognize the most value in each deal. Whether it be, is this a cash? Is this going to somebody that's a buy and hold or a fix and flipper? Is this a development play? Is this a buy this piece of land and forget about it, pay property taxes for the next 25 years, and then be a multimillionaire when the path of progress goes out that far to that piece of land, and now you're a genius? Is this a play where you've got a small house on a big lot that if you add 1,000 square feet, you can, and it costs you $125 a square foot, but you get $500 a square foot back? Recognize potential. Number 7, develop a professional reputation in the community. How are you dressed? How do you look? Are your teeth brushed? Do you have bad breath? Do you stink? Do you answer the phone? Do you respond to text messages quickly? Do you respond to emails quickly? Do you like people when like comments when you're on social media? To be really professional is about speed to response and of course appearance. Appearance matters. It really does, especially when you're going into these property owners' houses, especially when you're meeting with cash buyers that have money. Develop a professional reputation in the community. Number 8, be loud. Every single day you should be posting to your stories, I buy houses. I buy houses. I buy houses. I buy houses. Take a picture of yourself smiling. Take a picture of your shoes. Take a picture of a beautiful tree. Take a picture of a Lamborghini. Take a picture of a wall that's interesting. I buy houses. DM me. Send me your deals. Then friend request every single real estate agent and investor that you can in all the Facebook groups. Get your Facebook group up to 5,000 and post every single day, I buy houses, in Instagram because it posts to both. And find 30 people that'll send you one deal a year. Find 30 people that'll send you one deal a year. The average deal size is $15,000. That's $450,000, and it keeps ratcheting up. Inflation keeps ratcheting it up. That's going to be $20,000, $25,000, $30,000. That could be $50,000 in the next 10, 15 years. You got the same 30 people sending you 30 deals a year because they know, like, and trust you, and they know that you can get the job done. Not only that, you guys are homies. You guys are friends. There's love there. There's respect there. Find your 30 people. Number 9. Internal pressure always beats external pressure, not only to keep you motivated, but mostly for when you're doing discovery with property owners. They have to make the decision themselves. It has to be their decision to sell their property cash as is. It has to come from them. You can't just be a robot, ask them condition, timeline, motivation, price, not go deeper into their current state and what their desired state. What is Hell Island and how do they get off Hell Island and get to Heaven Island? You got to find that. You got to build that internal pressure, because that's how decisions stick. External pressure, trying to pressure people. Oh, this is the right time. You want to sell now before blah, 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 blah. You don't want to lose more money, blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is. Oh, the economy is going to do this and this and this. Stop. Doesn't work. Have them build the internal pressure. And for yourself, batteries have to come included. Batteries have to come included. If they don't, you can't be an entrepreneur. You're not going to make it. It's too tough. There's too much personal development. It's too much that's on you. Nobody will save you. Nobody's coming to pay you. Nobody's coming to just give you handouts. This is a meritocracy. Batteries have to come included. Number 10, controlled emotions are an asset where uncontrolled emotions are a liability. The biggest expense we have in our business are our emotions, because they're gonna dictate what we get done every single day. They're going to dictate what we get done in the next hour. They're going to dictate what our morning schedule looks like, what our morning routine looks like. They're going to dictate when we're ready to stop calling, we talk to 5 more people. because our emotions are under control. We are not attached to the outcome, but we know we build skills. We talk to people that are in situations that we can solve their problems, and we make sure that we stay in front of them and make sure that we're doing the lead follow-up and getting on those appointments as soon as possible. We cannot lose. You cannot, I guarantee it, guys. You can't guarantee anything in life. Whatever. You guys get it. I guarantee if you have enough quality conversations, you keep your emotions in check, you go out there with a servant's heart to help people out, you don't fall into this weird mind space that you steal equity from uninformed homeowners. Plague some of the best that you steal equity from uninformed homeowners. If you understand the value that we provide for those property owners to give them an option outside of just listing their house with a real estate agent, which they don't want to do, or they would. Listen, if somebody wants to list their house with a real estate agent, they're going to list their house with a really, go for it. Go bananas. I'm not going to convince you otherwise. People don't want to do that. I digress because that one really is a sticking point. But controlled emotions are an asset. Uncontrolled emotions are liability. Got it, guys? Take a screenshot. If you would, put in the chat. We got 81 people live right now. Put in the chat, which one of these hits you the hardest? Which one of these hits you the hardest? I know Brandon Mitchell will. I know Edwin will. They're amazing. They're always in there. Ralph's in here. Guys, participate in this. There's something magical when you participate in these live shows. And those are the 10 no BS facts about wholesaling real estate. Now, I'm going to bring in Tom Kroll, who's the absolute best. 6'2", 215 pounds. Perfect size for an NFL safety. He's got the chops. He's got the hair. He's got the enthusiasm. You don't want this guy smashing into you because he will absolutely knock you over. But today, he's not knocking us over physically. He's knocking us over mentally. Tom Kroll.
Bam! Good day, brother.
Did you get a chance to check out these 10 no BS facts about wholesaling real estate?
You know, I was listening to you discuss them. Controlling your emotions, brother, number 10 might have to be number 1, right? I mean, if you said to me, Tom, take your top 250 most successful and wealthy clients, peers, colleagues, right? They're Stoics, right? They're Epictetus. They're Marcus Aurelius. They're Maximus, right? Donald Trump teaches us, right? The number one predictor of success of an entrepreneur is their ability to handle pressure. Dan Kennedy teaches us the number one attractant of money is your immunity to criticism. Angela Duxbury teaches us that the number one determinant factor of a person is their grit, right? I mean, it's again and again and again. I would read some Ryan Holiday books. Ego is the enemy. The obstacle is the way. Conspiracy, right? I mean, these are the stories of the men and women who they can take this pressure and they can turn any situation into something that is good and a learning moment. So I think number 10, really to me, if you lined up all of the people I've ever worked with, they have a great propensity and capability and capacity to deal with pressure. And guys, this starts young. You want to talk about generational wealth? Generational wealth is not how much cash you leave your kids. It's the character. It's their ability to have awkward conversations. It's their ability to ask for things and to ask for help and to have impulse control, right? This is what number 10 is to me. I mean, this is, as far as I'm concerned, your ability to control emotions or the self-talk that you're talking about. That is really the number one determinant factor in my book, because there's all different ways to get to the same destination. But if you're feeling less than, feeling sorry for yourself, forgot that you're made in his image, whatever it is that you're dealing with, picked last for basketball when you were growing up, but whatever it is, you just have to want it. You have to just treat this, right? You have to forget all this stuff, because all that stuff that embarrasses you and you use to beat yourself up and berate yourself, Guys, everything online, 99.8% of everything you see is absolutely 100%. These people are full of it. So stop beating yourself up. You think Brent and I look this good without these filters on? I don't have any filters on, but I just think that you really have to you really have to just go and then go and go and go. One thing I used to, when I started, is I would just say, I'm going to go as if, God forbid, one of my kids got bit by a venomous snake and I had to get the next house under contract. That was the antidote to give it. I would sit at that living room table. I would go to the next house, the next house, the next house. I mean, that's the way to do it. Grit, determination, and a great propensity to deal with pressure. That's the key. Yeah, beautiful, man.
Let me ask you this, Tom. What kind of self-talk do you have? Like when you're and I'll give you a second to kind of think about it, because it's a kind of a deeper question. And for myself, I just think I just remember times that when I'm really dedicated and I'm really focused and I have a goal, and it's like, it's not something that somebody made me have, but it's something that I chose for myself. I feel unstoppable. I truly do. I know that it's just a matter of time. And then I get obsessed. And this happens with business. This happens with coaching little league soccer. You know what I mean? I'm just like, okay, all of a sudden my mind is going, and I'm trying to figure, I'm coming up with solutions. I'm coming up with strategies. I'm coming up with ideas. I'm coming up with all the things that I know that I should be doing. All of a sudden I start taking action on, because I just feel unstoppable based on past wins. So when you, Tom, personally, what is it that goes on self-talk with you that maybe is, give me both sides. Give me the positive side. Give me the maybe not so positive side.
You know, I wrote a Facebook message about this, a post just recently. And I think it was the last day or two, actually. And I would really make this akin to, I know once you've already experienced a lot of success and a lot of wealth, what you tend to do is, even myself, I tend to, I talk about, well, it's the one thing, and you got to shut off distractions, and you've got to, you got to keep going. If I'm really being honest, it wasn't discipline and willpower. That's not what it was. What it really was I was in love, brother, right? I was in love. It was the first thing I thought about. And I think this is, by the way, Daniel Lapin teaches us this in his books, and so do a lot of other great men and women of consequence who came before us in the past 3,000 years. It is entirely appropriate for you to lock in and be dedicated for a season, not your whole life, right? Hustle is a season, not a whole life, but it's entirely appropriate to be locked in like that. And for me, I didn't avoid shiny objects and distractions. I didn't even see them. I was oblivious to them. It was like I had horse blinders on, because I was just going full steam ahead. It was the most important thing in my life. I think it was my obsession. Probably a little bit of my ADHD was in play. And it's just like when, you met Erin, right? And it's like all of the things, I wasn't doing what I loved. I was pursuing what I loved, so I didn't mind doing all the obstacles that were in front of it, because I wanted to marry Julie, right? So I think that the whole idea here is, it's not like I'm in the grind and I'm using grit and determination and willpower and discipline. It was more like I wanted that outcome. I remember my first $2,000 that I made, and I wanted that again and again and again. And I didn't even notice that I was on phone calls all day, and I was working for a lot of hours. And I'm glad that I went through that season. I'm glad my kids saw me go through that season. I'm happy about that season. I think that a lot of people should go through this, not starting at a certain time and waiting till it's the appropriate time to call, and then cutting it off at a certain time. I was just in love. That's how I would explain it. So my self-talk was, I want this thing. I am going to do it, or I'm going to die trying. And once I made that decision, I was unstoppable. And
how do you, myself. Yeah. So it came from love.
It came from love, passion, obsession. And again, it's not, because a lot of people say, well, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. No. Right? it's not do what you love. Never try to monetize what you love. I was wanting the outcome. So I didn't mind what I was having to do to get the outcome. It wasn't so painful. Just like when you're accommodating, when you fall in love and you're accommodating that other person, you're showing up on time and ahead of time and you're thinking about them, you're buying a gift and you're you start to learn what they like and you start to change to what they want or whatever it is that you're doing. It just is part of a natural becoming of like moving from an amateur to a professional, or just like it's like a natural process that we go through as entrepreneurs and serving the marketplace to get the outcome that we want, not doing what we want, getting what we want by doing what other people want, by providing a really good service that people are like, hey, I need to get this now. I need to solve this problem today. I'll give you a good price, but make it convenient. Get this thing done for me right now. And then you just have to work really hard, but you really don't. I think it's a mistake to say that it wasn't like I was waking up and, oh man, here we go again. No, it was like out of bed, 5 o'clock in the morning. Let's go. All right, what's next? Where's the whiteboard? Are we written it down? Where's that lead? It fell through a thing. I need a CRM. Somebody get me a CRM because I've got all these sheets of paper everywhere and I'm losing leads, and I sent out the wrong postcard with the wrong phone number. Resend it again. I don't have the money. Sell the golf cart. I don't care. We're going to get this. That's it. I was doing it or I was going to die trying.
Tom, how can we become more disciplined? Colin asks. Great question.
Well, discipline is that, it's a confusing thing to unpack here, because I think that discipline is a symptom and a condition. I think it builds upon itself. I think that a discipline is almost like it's a habit, right? So I think that discipline is easier because I see your chart here, right? I think that there's really not any such thing as a lack of motivation. There's only the wanting of one thing more than another. I guarantee you that if you really want an outcome bad enough, your discipline is going to ratchet up. I guarantee it. So I think it's really a question of what do you want? Are you really clear about what you want? Are you following somebody else's path? Are you really in it to win it? And I think that's, a way to increase it. Whenever I've had really good discipline and willpower and consistency and going all in, right, where my mentor asks me to do something 5 times and I do it 55 times to the point of exhaustion until I get it done or I get it right or I get a result. That's always when I've wanted the outcome the most, when I was obsessed or OCD with the outcome. It was the top thing in my brain, and that's what I was going to get. I think that's how you get that discipline of that you just keep going and going and going, and you don't really care what anybody thinks about you.
I think you got to celebrate the small wins. That's what I see in this graphic right here is motivation goes up and then it fizzles out, right? The discipline is celebrating the small wins, whether it be with your health, whether it be with your business, whether it be with your relationship, whether it be all of these things. What are you celebrating the small wins? Going and pulling a list of properties that you're going to reach out to is a win. Reaching out to those property owners is a win. Having a conversation is a win. Driving in your car and seeing an ugly house and writing it down is a win. Getting out of your car is a win. These are the things that really help to build the discipline, is stack the small wins for the big win, and understand it's not just going to be one action is going to give you all of the reward. It's the small wins over a long period of time. And when you do that, it builds your confidence and it makes you feel better. It just makes you feel better.
I will say this is the best book I've ever read. I'm going through it again. I just printed the whole book out. It's called Self-Discipline. And if anybody wants this book, they could just email me at tom@coachinginc.com. I'll send it.
Glenn said he didn't get his.
Oh, he didn't get it?
Yeah.
I didn't get the email, but I will make sure that we get that out today.
What's the email, Tom?
Tom, Tom at coaching, coachinginc.com.
Coachinginc.com, guys. Definitely check that out.
I will get you that book today. You have my word.
So what is that book all about?
So this book is, one of the whole entire section is you've got to actually, the propellant is small wins. So the doctor is in full agreement with you, with your analysis here. And you have to know what those small wins are. So he has you take a piece of paper and you write down, here is how I'm going to actually reward myself. I am going to 100% write down ahead of time, this is how I'm going to reward myself. And, you know, I would also say this, guys, you got to, my goodness, one of the biggest things, I mean, I hope you guys are sitting down, you're not driving, because I don't want anybody to drive off road right now. I'm going to give you something that's going to change your life. If it's the only thing you ever learned from me or from Brent, if you want to be disciplined, you have to spend time with people who are disciplined. Stop thinking less of yourself by if the wrong people feel comfortable around you, the people who are not doing the right thing, and I'm not going to go through what the right things and the wrong things are. You know, the people who are not doing the right things, right? The ones who always have an emergency and they're not just not doing. If you feel comfortable, or those people feel comfortable around you, I am telling you, you are worth more than that. You can bring more value to more people if you can stop hanging out. And by you removing yourself from that situation, you are helping them. If you're not just helping yourself, you are actually a blessing instead of a burden to those people. Because when you provide that comfort, that comfortability where you all kind of just sit in that wet blanket of emergencies and danger and doing the wrong thing and laughing about it and not taking life serious, guys, you have to remove yourself first, because the people who are disciplined won't spend time with people who are not disciplined. By the way, I just got those emails, so that's what you hear coming in right now, and I will 100% get those books out today. But yeah, that's the key, is you got to stop hanging out with the wrong people, because if you think you can hang out with the wrong people, and you can't, it's like going swimming without getting wet. You can't do it. And if you think you can be Tom A in front of the wrong people, and then you could like put on a nice shirt and be Tom B in front of the right people, ain't happening. The right people could sniff out the wrong person in a second. That's why they're the right people. They have no tolerance. They're not going to be your accountability partner. They're going to be your friend. They're just going to expect you to do the right thing. They're not going to try to force you to do the right thing.
Guys, coachinginc.com. If you're interested in teaching, if you have a passion for teaching and coaching, it doesn't matter what it is. If you have that passion, you need Tom Kroll in your life. He's the best of the best. He's trusted by the best of the best. Go to coachinginc.com. If you want that book, go to send Tom an email, tom@coachinginc.com. You're the best, Tom.
Love you, brother. Have a great day. See you later.
Love you, buddy. See ya. Boom. We will leave this up as I'm going through some questions here, guys. And we have some great questions. By the way, guys, this is a live show. This goes so much better if we have questions from you. Whatever challenges that you're dealing with, put them in here. I want to respond to them, okay? AI Entrepreneur says, hi, what are your thoughts on infill lots and new construction in 2025? I love it. AI Entrepreneur. Listen, anytime that you can get an infill lot is going to be valuable. Anytime. It doesn't matter. It just matters on the price. It doesn't matter on the economy. It just matters on price. Land is always going to be valuable. If you look and Google it, I believe only 14% of the United States is habited by humans. 14% has people living in it. All right. And so it's going to be desirable. There's 335 million people in the United States documented, right? And so it's going to be more and more and more and more, and everybody's going to live where there is economy, where there are utilities, and where there's education. That's where people are going to live. And so if you can get a piece of land in an established area, it's always going to be valuable. So go bananas. Make sure that you're targeting it. You're going to do a really, really, really great job. Okay. Next. Ralph just got an email. Just got the email. Deal is closed and funded. Hold on, Ralph. Here we go. Trying to close 2 to 3 more before month is over. Love me some real estate. Squat up in Philly. Boom. Awesome. Congratulations. Let us know what you made on that, Ralph. That'd be awesome. I keep running into buyers who don't want to use our title company. How do you guys handle this, TTP? Well, it's on the purchase agreement, so it's already been established. Now, if they want to use their own title company, it's fine. You just have to get an addendum signed by the seller. And if you've got a seller that's very analytical and wants to and already has a relationship with the escrow officer and title company that you're already working with, then leave it there. You have the choice to be able to move it to different title companies. We usually keep it with our title company, but I understand why the buyer wants to use their own title company, because they probably get discounts and the buyer pays both sides, the seller side and the buyer side of the title and escrow fees. So yeah, I get it. I understand why they want to use it. It's not a big deal. Just make sure that you verify with the title and escrow officer at the other company that they understand assignments and or double escrow or double close, depending on what your exit strategy is. Just make sure that they work with investors. And maybe you might find somebody that's like way better than the person that you're already working with. Maybe. But if you really like the person that you're working with and you don't want to make a change and you don't want to rock the boat with the seller, then just tell the buyer no. Tell the buyer, it's already in the purchase agreement. Sellers already got their documents over to this title company. They're already working with them. They like working with them. Let's just get it closed with this title company. And I'm sure that I can work out discounts for you. Let me talk to my title and escrow officer and see what kind of investor discounts. Every title and escrow company that I know gives discounts to investors because they're repeat customers. It's smart business. So if you can match the discounts they're getting with their own title company, you're going to win. And they're going to they're not going to have a problem working with your people. All right, your title and escrow. Great question here. T. Trey. Hey, Brent, is it possible to acquire a wholesaling business if you want to expand quicker? Yeah, absolutely. The issue you're going to have, D. Trey, is most wholesaling companies don't run their business like a business. It's all over the place. You don't know. They don't really know their P&L, their profit and loss. They really don't know their balance sheets. So if they have a profit and loss and they have balance sheets and you can see inside their system the amount of leads they have, their personnel, who are these people that are working in that company, are they closing real deals? What's their average deal size? All those things are going to help you to determine what price that you can offer for their wholesaling business. Doesn't happen a lot because people are disorganized. They don't take it seriously. It's run and gun. It's like Renegade. But if there's people that are running it like an actual business, D. Trey, absolutely. Absolutely. Go for it. Mosey, Brent Daniel, is there a way to join your team? How, please? Thank you. Yeah, I mean, potentially. We're always looking for great talent. We're expanding, but you got to be in Phoenix, Arizona for my actual team. So, Mose, if you're in Phoenix, Arizona, rock and roll. If not, and you just want to be part of the environment, I highly suggest that you look at wholesalinginc.com and look to join the Rhino Tribe. Now until the end of the year, we're going bananas with discounts to get into the tribe. So go to wholesalinginc.com and check and apply to join the Rhino Tribe. And that's the best way to work with us if you don't live in Phoenix. All right. Jacob, it's been 5 months since I started cold calling. I had 2 deals that got canceled. I won't stop until I close 10. I'm just not sure if I should change my strategy. Cold calling while I'm here. Awesome. Keep calling. Do me a favor. Send me 3 of your call recordings. Send me 3 of your call recordings at brent@wholesalinginc.com. I'll check your skills. If you're terrible, maybe there's a better way to generate leads. But Jacob, as you're doing it, again, you need to go into Facebook real estate groups, real estate agents, investors. You need to Click everybody to be their friend, right? Friend request everybody, especially the admins in those groups. And then, Jacob, you have to post every single day to your stories, I buy houses. I buy houses, I buy houses, I buy houses. But Brent, I don't like social media. It's a huge distraction for me. I've never been on there. Stop. It's 2024. Upgrade. Post every single day that you buy houses. Use it as a tool. It doesn't have to be a distraction. Do that. Start finding your 30 people that'll send you one deal a year. It's going to take you 3 to 5 years to find those 30 people. But I want it now. Stop. Let's build a long-lasting, profitable, predictable business. Okay? So send me those. I'll do some call reviews. I'll email you back, and I'll see if you're just terrible. Maybe you're just really, really, really bad on the phone. I can give you some tips. I think that I could turn anybody bad on the phone to being good. I can turn people that are good to great. Okay? There is skills there. And some of it is innate. Some of it you're born with. So if you don't have it, it's going to be more of a challenge. But listen, it's a numbers game. You just have to do more numbers. And remember this, Luke Rothfold, multi-millionaire. He's in his mid-30s now. He started with me when he was in his mid-20s, early 20s. He was a bartender at a resort, got on the phone, made calls. And by the way, he is arguably, in my opinion, not arguably, but to everybody else, the best cold caller in the country. Luke Rothfold. He's got a great YouTube channel and Instagram, even better. Owns Airbnbs, develops properties, has developing multifamily, has a bunch of residential rentals, wholesales and flips, a couple $1 million worth of real estate every year with his partner, Jake Landis. Took him 5 months to get his first deal, Jacob. 5. And this was back in 2013, bro. This is before I even opened up my mouth about TTP, about cold calling, before it was even the cool thing to do. And so when there was nobody calling these property owners, it still took them 5 months. Stick with it. Enjoy this. Enjoy the work, right? Enjoy the skills that you're building. It's going to last with you forever. Awesome. Phil, great picture, Phil. Looking good. Phil Banks asked, pointers on wholesaling condos. Yes. Phil, a couple of things. One, find out if there's a transfer fee. Sometimes condos, especially if they're 55 plus, if they're adult community condos, they have big assessment fees or transfer fees. So you're going to have to understand that because that's going to affect the bottom line for your buyers. Okay. It's also a negotiating point with your sellers. So find that. All right. The other thing that you want to do is with the HOA of that, you need to find out if they allow rentals. In most condo communities, there's only a percentage that can be owned by landlords, by investors, before they cannot be FHA qualified. There's a certain percent. If the investors are higher than FHA guidelines, they don't allow FHA loans, and FHA loans one of the most used loans there are. So it really limits the amount of buyers, which really limits the price. So those are the two things, Phil, that you really want to look at. Great question, because nobody thinks about that. And it took me a lot of head banging and a lot of disappointment of deals that I thought were just smoking that I couldn't sell to the right buyer, the buy and hold buyers, because they didn't allow it. The other thing is just understand what's the condo fees. What's the condo fees specifically for that? What's the HOA fees per month total? Because that really affects the price as well. All right. And check if there's any major assessments. There's a building right next to me, Phil. Huge complex, Landmark complex. You can look it up, Landmark in Phoenix. And they have had an assessment because they are switching out the boiler and the air conditioning unit, the chiller system, which was like millions of dollars. Well, when that happens, they do assessments of every single owner in there. And I think it was like $30,000, $40,000 over a couple year period that they had to pay. And when you get into that and there's the assessment, you adopt that assessment. So see if there's any major resurfacing the parking lot, resurfacing maybe there's issues with the basement and mold and ventilation. All those things are really important to find out if there is any assessments. All right, guys, you ready? Next up is the person responsible for taking, hold on, let me get rid of this. For all of the inbound leads that come in, typically 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Then he also is our safety net on all the other times. All 168 hours this guy has. That's the capacity of this human being right here. We found him on LinkedIn. He was door knocking to sell solar in July in the middle of COVID 2020. We recruited him, and life has been so much better since. 6'2", 6'3", 205. He's about the build of Joe Burrow, quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. Some would say he's handsomer. I'm one of those. It's my pleasure to bring on to our live show my acquisition manager, Chad Coulter. Chad, what's up?
That was quite the introduction. Quite the introduction, man.
How's our morning? How are we looking?
It's been busy the past hour. I've got an incredible appointment here at 3:30 that was set up for Ryan in Scottsdale that we'll have to take a look at after you get done with the live show.
Yep.
But other than that, man, it's been fantastic. Just kind of doing some colder leads and getting ready for my support call here in 30 minutes as well.
So in 2024, after the first quarter-ish, we went to all inbound leads. That's from pay-per-click and that is from TV. And so these inbound leads that you either get a text message or they call and you answer that call. When that happens, walk me through your process. What are you asking? How do you answer the phone? How do you, when you're, a call comes in, how do you answer the phone?
It would be essentially like if I get a call from you, we'll just go like a live call, right? So, hey, this is Chad with Joe Homebuyer. How may I help you? And it's you, Brent. I'm looking at selling my house here in Phoenix. Awesome, Brent. You got a few minutes to kind of, catch me up to speed with what's going on, kind of what your goals are, and give me a little bit of information about the house. You say yes, and then first we'll start obviously with the address. And once you give me the address, I don't like to focus mostly on the condition right away because we can get into that, right? The condition, it matters, but the most two important things that matter in that original phone call are your timeline and the motivation, right? It's like, why are they selling and when do they have to sell, right? And the price doesn't really matter. I mean, it kind of does, but at the same time, it doesn't because we can go over some of our deals that we've done where price, we've got them down over 100K in negotiating before. But the first two things that I'm really honing in on is, why are you selling and what's got you interested? Why are you calling me essentially? And how quickly do you need to close, right? And if we can hone in on those two things in the first 5 to 10 minutes, you really get a good understanding of where this lead is going to go from here.
And so you're looking, they want to sell now and they've got some real motivation, right? Now,
Yeah.
Are people when they're calling in when they're calling in, are they kind of playing the game? Are they playing poker?
Yeah. I mean, there are some that definitely will, and as they should. I mean, I would probably do the same thing. You're calling into somebody you never spoke with before, and not everybody is just gonna peel back like an onion, right, and give out all their juice in a sense. And so for me on my end, it's my job to try to be as genuine and as personal as possible to try to be relatable to their whatever situation they're going through. And I try to do that with my tone of voice when I'm on the phone.
You're the master.
Like trying to really be as welcoming as in kind of matching the seller, right? The seller that called in this morning in Scottsdale, he was a type A personality, right? And you can't be soft. You can't be, this kind of charming person on the phone with type A. They don't deal with that, right? So you've got to match their energy level. And so he was a no BS type guy, doesn't want to deal with, price reductions, doesn't want to deal with a long close. He wants somebody to come out, make him an offer and help him in his situation. And so it was a little bit different than a normal call because you really got to match his energy or else he's going to walk all over you. And it takes lots of reps to really kind of master that skill.
So what is it just a stronger tone? Is it
Yeah.
crisper? You're not jibber jabbering too much. You're just, getting to the point of what you need to find out.
Yeah. Like he pretty much said, I don't want any BS. And I said, look, I don't want any BS, right? If you want to cut to the chase, let's cut to the chase. You tell me what your goals are throughout this process and what's going on. And let's see if we can get to the point and let's see if we can help you. Right. And then because I kind of matched him, right? He was like, okay, let's talk. I've got a private money lender on this house. He's starting to pressure me because I'm a few months behind, this and that. And, 5 minutes later, he's talking about how he has experience in the business and some of the people that he doesn't like to deal with. And he really just wants us to come out and be fair with him about what we can potentially offer on the house. Right. And of course, he's the guy that says, well, don't you dare come out with this type of offer because I'll never accept that. Right. But that's what sellers do. Right. I mean, they're never going to say, hey, if you can come out and give me $250,000 for my $500,000 townhome, I'll take it. Right.
Yeah.
So, we try to deflect on the price as much as possible because, like I said, we've done a lot of deals where the price points are 400,000 and we've gotten them at 250. It's just part of it. So
let's role play a little bit. Okay. Cause they want us to role play, which I love this. We got a lead just now or 30 minutes ago, Kimberly Park at Gold Mine Canyon in Wickenburg.
Yeah.
Okay. This is pay-per-click lead. It just came in. We all get text messages that have all the leads, their information. So call me. I'll be Kimberly. Let's just say Kimberly is a man's name.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Kimberly. Is this Kimberly?
Yes, this is Kimberly. Who is this?
Hey, Kimberly, this is Chad with Joe Homebuyer. I just got the form you filled out about your property here on Adams Street in Wickenburg. Did I catch you at a bad time?
No, that was fast. I think I'm still on your website here.
Yeah. No worries at all. We try to be as efficient as possible. And I saw the form come by and I had a few minutes. So I just wanted to call and introduce myself and kind of get some information about the house, but more importantly, kind of get a better idea of where you're at in the process and kind of figure out your goals that you have in the selling process, all in all. Can you kind of catch me up to speed real quick with what you're hoping to do and how we could possibly help?
Yeah. That house was a rental property. I used to live there and then I moved to Virginia and that's been a rental property for me. And I'm just sick of it. I've owned it for 15 years and it's just time to sell it.
Are you self-managing this property from Virginia?
Unfortunately.
Wow. Yeah, I don't wish that upon my worst enemy. I can't even imagine. Are you getting just tons of phone calls and texts from your tenants about every little thing that's going wrong with this house?
I told them I wouldn't raise the rents if they, took care of the small items. Obviously, any bigger items, I told them to reach out to me. But honestly, I haven't been in the house for 3 years.
Okay.
I don't know. They had some pets. I think it's in decent shape.
Okay.
I don't know for sure, but
Yeah.
I think it's in pretty decent shape. But it's an older home. It's going to need some work.
Sure. Let me ask you this: are your tenants, are they month to month, or are they on a lease, Kimberly?
Yeah, month to month. Yep.
Okay, cool. And have you expressed to them your kind of your interest in selling the house? Like, have you guys had that conversation yet?
Yeah, they know I'm going to be selling it.
Okay.
Yep.
So you've
Start
given
of 2025. So they know they're already starting to look for a new place.
Okay, cool. So they kind of have an idea. You've given them their 30-day notice. Let's say they're out by middle of January. Is that fair?
Yeah, they're fine. They'll find something. Maybe a little bit more time, but I could talk to them.
Okay. And we can be flexible with that. That's kind of one of the advantages of selling through an investor versus going to the open market is we have a lot of flexibility and we try to put together a closing package process that is specialized for each individual seller that we work with. With that being said, what does like the timeline really look like here for you, Kimberly? Are you looking at like closing within the next 15 to 30 days? Because that's really what
I'm looking to get an offer from you today.
Today. Okay.
I mean, right now, if you could do it, I don't know if you could pull it up on your computer or how much time you need, but
Okay. Have you, let me ask you this. Have you already spoke to a few different people? Have you kind of gotten some different feedback, or am I your first call?
No, I just saw you guys. I went to your website and
Yeah.
just filled it out. I'll probably get a couple other bids just,
Okay.
to do my research and
Yeah.
due diligence.
And as you should, Kimberly. I think it's important to honestly do your own research to kind of get an idea of what properties have been selling for in this area. And then also get some different feedback from other people to make sure that you know what offer you end up moving forward with is a good one, right?
Yep.
If you're getting offers that are in similar ballparks as far as what a cash offer would bring, then you know that's a good sign, right? Because most serious investors that have been doing this for a long time all kind of run their numbers a little similar, right? In a sense, it may be five, 10, $15,000 here and there, depending on the location, the condition, and their available crews, right? But if you're getting, 2 to 3 bids in a similar spot, you should feel good about that, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
Tell me a little bit about the house. I know you said it's in decent shape, but it is an older home. How many beds, baths, square footage? Just kind of catch me up on that quick.
Yeah, it is. It's a 4-bed, 2-bath. It was
Yep.
renovated. I bought it renovated about 15 years ago.
Yep.
So it had the new tile at the
Yep.
time. Probably not popular anymore, but the carpets. I'll be honest, in the bedrooms, they need to be totally. I don't even know if there is carpet anymore. They might have ripped that out
Yeah.
because they had some pets, and I think it was starting to. They were just tearing it up, and I think it smelled a little bit. And I think the roof is probably 25 years old. The air conditioner is pretty old,
Okay.
but the water heater's new. It's got a
Yeah.
it's got a new water heater,
Yes.
and I put a new washer and dryer in it.
Okay. Okay.
But beyond that, I think it's going to need to be renovated for sure.
And let me tell you this too, Brent, or Kimberly, my apologies. In a sense, for any investor that's going to try to take down this property, right? If things aren't up to 2024 standards, they're probably going to go in and replace it anyway, right? So for us, your house here I'm seeing is 1,600 square feet. We've been doing the business for long enough, right? We can kind of get an idea of what it's going to cost for a 1,600 square foot, stick built home that needs a new roof, new AC, and cosmetic updates throughout. So I'm not too worried about that. Do you have, I don't know if I asked you this, but do you have a mortgage on it, Kimberly?
Yeah, I think I've only got, I bought it a while ago. It was a really good price at the time. And I think I got maybe 60 grand left on the mortgage.
60. Okay. Okay. And over the past 15 years, I mean, obviously the property is appreciated. Have you kind of done some research to kind of see what homes have been selling for, or?
Yeah, I know that Zillow has it on for 362.
Yeah.
I don't expect that. Obviously, you guys need to make some money, and it needs to be renovated. But
Yeah. Yeah.
just give me a fair offer. You know what I mean? Don't mess around. Don't. I want to sell, but I don't want to have to fix it up. But I could if I had to.
Yeah.
If the prices all come in way too low, I would have to figure something out.
Well, tell me this, Kimberly, what's too low to you? I mean, at this point, if you didn't have to deal with the updates and the tenant and getting it on the market from 25 hours away, and you could just step away from the property hands free in the next 30 days, I mean, what would be a good offer for you?
If I could walk away with 150 to 175 in my pocket after paying off the 60,000, that would feel really good. Obviously, the more the better.
Okay, so I'm kind of bad at math, so that looks like 250. So you're looking at like 310 to 325. Is that what you're saying?
No, I only owe 60, so 210 to 235.
Okay, perfect. So with that being said, and I forgot to ask at this point, Kimberly, is there anybody else that's kind of helping you make a decision throughout this process, or is it just you?
My wife's involved, but she kind of let me spearhead this, and but she's on board.
Okay. Do we need to bring her into the conversation to make sure that she doesn't have any questions or she doesn't have any concerns about kind of how the process works moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, once we have an offer, we'll discuss it, and if we have any questions, we can certainly both ask.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at things here right now, Kimberly, and I know you said that you would be happy with about $1.50 in your pocket. Is there any flexibility or any wiggle room at all with that price?
I think that that's probably fair. I think that it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you need some work, and I understand that anybody that's going to go and buy in there is it's they're going to want to get a return.
Yeah.
So I
And
get it.
look, and look, I'm not saying that your price is unreasonable. I appreciate you being flexible. Sometimes it's hard for people to understand the cost that we have to put into a property and the risk that's involved for us to be able to make a profit at the end of the day. So I do appreciate that. Let me, Kimberly, let me ask you this. I mean, if I could put you on hold and step into my finance guy's office real quick, and somehow, some way, I'm able to get 210 approved, like, are you ready to put an agreement together right now with me on the phone?
I'd have to talk to my wife. Yeah, I'd have to see it. I'd have to look at the agreement,
Yeah.
and I think that I think that price wise, we're pretty close.
Yeah.
But I think maybe I'd want you to see it before making an offer.
Okay. What other concerns do you have, though, about the process moving forward? Are you looking for any other terms in this offer that would stand out to you guys or make you guys kind of push the needle to where you feel good about making a decision right here, right now?
Well, I assume it would go through a title company,
Yeah.
and they would take care of
Yeah.
all of that
Once-
business.
If we got an agreement together right now, Kimberly, essentially the next steps would be, we would send in our transaction coordinator, who happens to be my wife, Erin. She would send in the agreement to the title company, Pioneer Title, and then they would start the process. They pull the title report and do all of this. We'd have our inspection period, right, where we have our contractors, subcontractors, partners, X, Y, and Z go in, kind of look at the property and make sure that there's no big outstanding things that you're not aware of and that I'm not aware of that we can't see from afar, right? And the only way that anything would change about this agreement is if we were to find like some $25,000 item that popped up that you and I were not aware about. And that happens like 0.0001% of the time. So you shouldn't be too worried about that. But other than that, you would fill out your opening documents. They would order the payoffs, and then 30 days later, you're ready to close. Right. So it'd be pretty smooth, pretty clean, pretty convenient for you all the way throughout. So, why don't we do this? If you're not ready to make a decision right here, right now, and you need to speak with your wife, why don't you go to her and I will go to my finance guy and I will push him like hell to try to get up to your price. And if you can get with her, you talk with her and ask her if she is good at 210. And if she's good at 210, let's get back together here on another call in 10, 15 minutes and we'll finalize this thing. Is that fair, Kimberly?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. I'll do my best. You do your best, and I'll give you a call here in 10, 15 minutes.
Awesome.
All right.
Come on. Guys, put in the chat some love for Chad. Put some love in the chat. Put a fire emoji. Put a picture of Joe Burrow. Put a picture of
Frosted Tips.
put anything, something positive. Put something positive in there. Get him some frosted tips. That's right, guys. The chat does this every single day. There's a lot of nuance that we could break down in that, but if you understand, everything Chad's doing is confirming and approving. He's not building friction anywhere. You want to lose a deal, add friction. Yep. You know what I'm saying? He is making it smooth. He's using his tone of voice not to sound like this big time and powerful investor. He's doing it to just do the discovery. What does this seller want to accomplish?
Yeah.
Awesome. And then if it was somebody that was in town, how do you do the handoff to Ryan?
Yeah. So essentially, if you're here in Phoenix, I'll set up the appointment, but how we try to change, because Phoenix is so competitive, right? And let's just say that you were set on making a few different appointments, right? You wanted 3 people to come out before you made an appointment. Then I'm trying to get a hard verbal commitment from you after building 20 minutes of rapport to let us come out last, or at least after somebody else has come out that's giving you an offer, right? Because a lot of people here in Phoenix, the likelihood of them being okay to take one offer, what does that happen? Like 2% of the time, right? I
Right.
mean, it never happens because
Yep.
there's so many different people that they can call. So I'm setting up Ryan an appointment strategically when they're closer to being ready to make a decision, and maybe when they've had 2 or 3 other people come out. So that way he can come in, he can get a feel for what the other offers were, who are the other people that came out, and then go from there, because that gives him a best shot to close. And so then it's, I mean, hey, expect a text message from me right after we hop off the phone. You're going to get an automated text from Ryan as well on the day of the appointment and the time, and let us know if you have any questions or you need anything before we make it out.
1.8 million and some change you and Ryan have been responsible for this year. 1.8 million and some change in the calendar year 2024. How important is it to get inbound leads?
Yeah, I mean, guys, not only is it going to just make your life a whole lot better from dealing with the cold calling and texting leads, but the turnaround time is just insane, right? If you want deals and you want deals fast, these people that are reaching out are wanting to make a decision within 30 days. They're selling it to somebody. And if you can refine your skills and really own that first 24 to 48 hours of contact, it's really hard to fail.
Well, when you get that PPC lead coming in, it's what, 1 to 15 leads?
Yeah.
1 to 15 leads per deal,
Yep.
as opposed to 1 out of how many for cold calling and text?
Like 90, 100, 120, something like that.
Well, how does that affect your mentality?
Oh, well, every single time, we get a phone call or a form, there's a chance, right? That there's a chance. And all I'm looking for is in that first 3 minutes, because obviously you can't determine every single call if it's going to be like a deal or not off that first intro call, but at least you have an idea like of that first 3 minutes. If they can just give me something to work off of, then I know I got something, right? And for us, motivated sales guys, that's all we ask for, right? Is just give us something that we can go after, give us something that we can work with, something that, we can do right here, right now versus 120 days out.
Yeah, because we close the deals in 30 days, not 4 months.
Yeah. So it's not as mentally draining on you for sure.
It's more exciting every day.
Yeah. Keeps you fresh. It keeps you crisp. Any phone call could pop out to be a 50, 60, 100K deal.
Yeah. Awesome. Chad, love you, buddy.
Love you too, man.
Thanks
for having me on.
Back to work.
Yep. See you.
Awesome. There you go. Chad Coulter, guys. If you haven't given him some love, give him some love in 7 minutes. His counterpart, the closer, Ryan Thornton, will be on the show, and we're going to pick his brain, maybe do some role play. So if you want to hear some role play from a closer who's going on the appointments, put in your questions so that we can hit him with it as soon as he pops in here in about 7 minutes. All right. Stephanie. Yeah, I know. Listen, it was the coldest day of the year. Well, so far last night, and it's nice and brisk, and we live in Phoenix. So I usually wear a t-shirt because it's a bazillion degrees out, and I wear black so that I don't sweat through it. You know what I mean? And some blue or yellow or green or gray shirt. I'm not going to wear that. I'm not going to look all sweaty all the time. You know what I mean? So you wear black t-shirts most of the time, but now we just, we stylize it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We throw in a little jacket, a little double, what'd you call me, Luke? Double collar poppy. Boom. There we go. So Steph, thanks for recognizing. Yeah. Let's get to a couple more questions here. Arturo Cortez, Mr. Brent, if you had one list to call, what list would it be? Thanks. Driving for dollars. Ugliest houses get the best deals. Ugliest houses. Now, I will tell you the most successful list so far this year is US Lead List. It's a pre-inherited. You can keep Deal Machine on here, though. We're doing an awesome training for Deal Machine in about an hour and a half, all about pay-per-click and inbound leads. But Deal Machine, when you're starting out and you need to be proactive and you need to do outbound, this is the all-in-one tool to use. And they hook you up with a TTP discount. They know that you're part of us. They know that you're part of our community, and it's just phenomenal. They treat you the absolute best, and you get to try it out for free. So definitely check out Deal Machine. Drive for dollars, and then US lead list. If it's available in your market, I was on a 12-year waiting list to get on to US lead list. That's how powerful it is. And if you were to mail one list, this would be the one to do, right? If you're doing direct mail and you want to target it and you don't have a huge budget, that's the one to do it. Yeah, US lead list. But Drive for Dollars, guys, listen, 80% of people get their first deals from Drive for Dollars. All right. Vanessa, will you be making a video on how to use Deal Machine AI to build lists that are similar to Drive for Dollars? Already have. It's in there. Go to the videos section of the Brent Daniels YouTube channel, and it's right in there. What was it labeled, Luke? Luke will find that, and we'll link it in there for you, Vanessa. Yeah, already did that training. It's awesome, guys. Super awesome. Yeah, really great. They are just upgrading this tool like you wouldn't believe. It's phenomenal. Great question. Chris Chippy, how do you handle a seller who has a cash offer that is way too high to be real? How do you educate them without upsetting them? I love this. All right. So first off, Chris, it's real important that you educate them on the process. So what you want to do is say, I want you to get the most for your property. I'll never tell you how much to sell your property for. I can only tell you how much I can offer, right? Here you go. I can't tell you what you should sell your home for. I can only tell you how much I can pay, right? But if somebody's dramatically higher than you and you know that it's just a blind offer, 1, have you met this person? 2, have you had a conversation, or is this a blind offer? 3, have they seen the property? 4, in the purchase agreement that you have from these people, does it say that they have the right to file a memorandum of sale on this property? If it does, I'd be very, very careful, because one of the scams going on right now is these scammers will put a property under contract at a price they know they can never close that deal. They can never complete that transaction. But what they do is they tie you up, because now you can't sell that property to anybody else. They file a memorandum, which puts a lien on your property. And even if you go to sell it to somebody else, you have to pay off that lien. It's almost, and typically that lien is $10,000. It is the wrong way to do business. I just want you to be protected, because as soon as you sign that document with them, and they have the right to file a memorandum on that on your property, they can really stop any future sales without getting basically a blackmail payment to remove that lien. So that's the conversation. Also, I want you to get as much as you can, but if for some reason they start beating you up during the inspection period, they start saying that they can't pay you that much, all of a sudden some surprise cost came up, or they ran their numbers wrong, or they didn't realize how much repairs your property needed, and now they want $100,000 price reduction, cancel that deal and come back and we'll have a conversation. But this will be a great question for Ryan, actually. We'll save this for Ryan as well. Armay, what are the most important things not usually thought about to verify with sellers and even buyers' info? I don't understand that question. What are most important things that not usually thought about to verify with the seller's info? Call them, see if it's the right number. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. Teresa, hi Brent. An obvious question, LOL, but wanted to confirm. Can I get my real estate license in Atlanta? I live in New York City, but my market is Atlanta. Not sure if I have to live in Atlanta before I could. Nope. You could absolutely do it virtually. You could do it all over the computer. You could take the classes and you can take the tests and you can live anywhere and have an active real estate license in that area. Unless somebody knows otherwise. Unless Georgia has some crazy rule, but I've never heard of it. Mike, why the transition from Flip Finder to Deal Machine? People like Deal Machine better. It was just, it's all about the facts, really loved the tools that Flip Finder had. We were waiting on a bunch of big time updates that never happened. And Deal Machine blew right past them, and people loved getting the free skip tracing. Really good quality free skip tracing in higher end tools. BizTax, travel and language. I'm a new investor with Gator Method. Would it be okay if I get a VA to help find motivated sellers as a brand new investor? Sure. I think that you should talk to 1,000 property owners before you hire anybody, though. I truly do. I think that you should build that skill, build that experience, and then go and hire people. But that's the filter that I like using. Talk to 1,000 property owners before you hire anybody. Ryan, are you ready? I see you backstage there, but I don't see your camera on. Maybe you're on a call. Oh no, he's not on a call. He's ready to go. Oh no, he is on a call. No, he's not on a call. All right, guys. Listen, he was voted 2025's most handsome real estate professional. It's not even 2025 yet. That's how handsome he is. He's got dazzling eyes. He's 5'11", I would say. 5'11", maybe 172 pounds. He'll hoop it up. Oh, more? 180 pounds. 180 pounds. We called him the Mantis because he had a perfect stance as a cornerback for the Northern Arizona University Lumberjacks. And he would take the heads off of receivers like the female praying mantis does to the males after mating. Ryan has 3 kids, so he's good at that too. So here we go. The man, one of my best friends, college roommate, and the #1 acquisition manager in the country, Ryan Thornton.
Bro, what?
Welcome. Very nice. Good to see you.
The one thing that'll keep me from coming on this show is your introductions. So,
listen.
Go ahead.
Next time I'll just feel like, here he is, right?
I mean, better than a praying mantis biting the heads off of receivers like a female during mating season. Like, come on.
I'm just saying that. Was it not your nickname?
Yeah, but okay, sure.
All right. So Chris asked this really good question. I answered it, but I'd love to get your perspective on it. How do you handle a seller with a cash offer that's way too high to be real? How do you coach them without getting them upset?
Well, one of the questions I always ask when somebody gives me their offer is I ask how they got to that figure. No matter what the offer is, maybe it's a great offer, maybe it's a deal automatically, or it's too high. I want to know where their head's at and how they figured that offer out. Was it because they've already talked to some buyers, right? And that brought them down and that's what's reasonable to them? Or am I the first call and now they're just testing the water and they're anchoring high like we might anchor low, right? So, hey, how'd you get to that number? And then they say something like, oh, well, this, and this. And I go, all right, well, listen, you know what? At the end of the day, I'll never tell anybody what to sell their house for. I can only tell them what makes sense on the cash side of things, right? And so the education part, Chris, it really kind of comes down to, one, how they got to that figure, and then you kind of go from there. So a lot of people, they have access to Zillow and Realtor.com and Redfin and things of that nature. So I'll say, well, most people look online, look on Zillow, it says this number, and it looks like that's kind of right around where you're saying you want. And I'll let you know, Chris, that number basically says if your house was completely fixed up, 2024 style, HGTV, you could list it at that price. So is that where your house is at? It's completely updated. There's absolutely nothing you would do to that place.
Love it.
Right. And then you got to kind of work your way down from there. And then it just kind of comes down to timing. Because if they've looked at it and they say, hey, I want this super high offer, you really got to figure out, hey, where are they really at in the process of selling their house? Is that timeline fast? Is their pain enough for them to actually come down to a price that's reasonable?
And are you getting that pain, or is Chad getting that pain? Or you guys?
So Chad will always try to get the timeline and the motivation before anything else.
Yeah, he talks about that.
Right, because people can talk about what kind of money they want, but if they are in pain, there's distress, the price they give initially has no bearing on what I might be able to do when it really comes down to closing the deal.
Are people typically just throwing out Zillow prices?
A lot of times, I think that's most sellers, right? Because that's the only thing they have access to. You do have some savvy people who will actually know what comps are. They have an idea of how we get to our offers. But a lot of times people are just Googling their address, right? And they see, oh, it's worth $587,000. That's what I'm gonna ask for.
So how do you get through that?
Just really that education portion of things. So you tell them like, hey, listen, like I said, I'll never tell you what to try to sell your house for. But then you really get down to what the timeline is. Hey, how quickly are you looking to sell? Okay, what's special about that time? If you could wait 6 months, would you? No? Okay. And then you work from there.
What if the property's destroyed, but they want Zillow?
Well, then you have to really see that there's probably not a whole lot of motivation or pain. And so that's really the discovery portion of things. So if the home's destroyed, they want Zillow, they're not flexible, then you've dug into like why they're selling and when they want to sell, and it's just not there, then you move on. It's a dead lead.
Yeah. So at what point do you know to get rid of the lead?
After you discover. So a lot of people, listen, when you're on the phone and you're trying to qualify or disqualify a lead, a lot of times you can't tiptoe around the important questions, right? And it's not really about trying to offend. You ask a question in a way it's not offensive. But if you say something like, hey, you filled out our form, or, you've taken the time to talk to me, it doesn't really seem like you're that interested in selling. What kind of prompted you to fill out our form? Oh, I just want to get an idea of what it's worth. Okay. And so as far as that price line, that price point, you have no flexibility of coming down whatsoever. Okay. All right. So you really just have to be very direct with them as far as why we're sitting here in this house. I mean, I probably wouldn't go to the house because hopefully we discovered it on the phone, but why we're having this conversation.
How do you determine what properties to go on the appointment?
If short timeline and strong motivation. So if someone is, hey, you know what, I wanted to sell yesterday, or, I want to be out of here in 2 weeks or 30 days, and you figure out exactly where it is, if they could be shorter, if they wanted to, or can they go 6 months and still be okay? You want to know that. And then the motivation, what's prompted you to start looking to sell your house? And not only that, what's prompted you to start looking to sell your house for cash, right? Because cash is not the first thing in someone's head when you think about selling a house. It's always putting it on the market. So understanding why they've gone the cash route as opposed to the realtor listing route is really important.
Got it. And then if they have a short timeline, but they want retail value, you're going on that appointment?
It depends on why they're selling. Because like I said, they can say whatever they want. They can say retail. Yeah, I'm looking for this. All right. Okay. Are you flexible off that? No, not at all. All right. Well, hey, what's prompted you to start looking to sell your house right now? Oh, well, I'm just time to downsize, like things like that. And so you got to listen to those key words, and downsizing to me means there's some financial troubles, right? And so it's really just that active listening, right? So don't automatically hear that number and go, oh, this is a dead lead. Sometimes you got to be a little more direct, and you got to dig in. You got to listen to find that true motivation, that timeline, to figure out what they're really trying to do. Because if you think about anybody who fills out a form, or anybody that you cold call, and they know that you're an investor and you buy houses and whatever, in a lot of people's mind, you're kind of a snake, right? You're just somebody who's trying to steal their house and take it for pennies on the dollar. And so really just trying to be, sympathetic, right? And understanding, and then just uncovering a problem and letting them know that you are the best person to solve that problem is what gets you in the door.
Awesome. There was a question here that said, what is your process when you go into a seller's home? Great question from Sean G.
Hey, Sean. So I think I do it probably a little different than most people. When I first started this, I don't know how many years ago, Brent, four and a half years ago, you go in, and the first thing that these sellers want to do is show you their house, right? You walk in, they're like, oh, okay, well, take a look around, or hey, there's this, and this. And I've stopped doing that, because once I see the house, they automatically have an expectation of what? An offer. I've seen the house, they want their offer. And so what I've made a habit of doing is whenever I get into the house, I ask them if we can sit down and chat for a bit. And then I go over everything again, all the pillars. I really dig down to what the timeline is, what they're looking for, just reiterating maybe the reason why they're selling. And then I'll want to get down to the price point of what they're looking for and whether or not I'm going to be able to lock that deal up while I'm there. Hey, if we get to terms that you and I can agree to, are you guys ready to put pen to paper while I'm here? Yes. Okay. I go see the house and we figure it out. But if they say no, then I'm trying to overcome these objections. Okay, well, what's keeping you? Oh, well, my wife isn't going to be here till 6 or whatever. It's like, hey, you know what? I completely understand that. Is it possible, if all things considered, and maybe we can get to some numbers that we can both agree with, to get her on the phone so she can ask and answer some questions live, so you guys are both comfortable while I'm here. So no matter what, when I go to a house, I'm doing everything I can to close that deal, because if I leave, what do you say all the time, Brent?
Time kills all deals.
Time kills all deals.
That's right.
Yeah. So if it's not a practice that you guys don't ever already employ, then try sitting them down before you walk the house, because it gives you a great opportunity to build rapport and really uncover some true pain and motivation that maybe you didn't get on the phone without the expectation of them just waiting for a number.
Awesome. Did you talk to that Scottsdale lead Chad got this morning?
Not yet. We he has me set out to go at 3:30.
Yeah.
We gotta look at it, look at some numbers.
Yeah. So talk to me about that process. Chad gets a call in. I assume it was a call in, right?
Yeah. Yes, it has to be, because
I didn't see a text message with it.
Yeah.
So they called in. He wants an offer. Chad pre-qualifies, gets it over to you. Do you call before going out on an appointment? Do you introduce yourself? What happens now?
Sometimes Chad kind of prompts that most of the time, because he'll send me a text and go, hey, I told that you give her a call real quick to intro yourself. And then sometimes he's like, all right, yeah, you're set for this. And so if Chad kind of tells me like, hey, how do you want me to start this based off your conversation with them? But also with our automations, with our CRM, they give kind of follow-up texts like, hey, looking forward to seeing you at 3:30, that kind of thing. So that's an introduction of itself.
Our CRM does that?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And we're using Follow-Up Boss. We just switched to it.
Yep.
How do you like it?
I think it's efficient.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
So you go out there, you've never had a conversation with them. You show up at 3:30, you show up at 3:15, you show up at 3, you show up at 4.
So I try to get there probably 10-15 minutes before the appointment, and I'll park down the street.
Right.
And I'll just kind of hang out, and I'll kind of like look to see, what's going on with the house. A lot of times I see other buyers coming out, and it just gives me an opportunity to just kind of just hang out, not feel rushed. Maybe I'll go over a few things on my phone, as far as what the appointment might entail. And that's it.
Do you bring a purchase agreement under your arm when you're walking into the house?
I have not taken a purchase agreement. I usually just come into Hamden, make my phone and a business card. And then once I know that the deal is going to be closed, I'll go out, I'll fill it out, or I'll bring it inside and fill it out while I'm talking to them.
So you bring a purchase agreement. It's just in the car.
Oh, yes. Oh.
Why not bring it with you? Why not just go in with confidence?
And, and that's something that you absolutely do. But a lot of times it's like, I don't want attention on it.
Yeah.
And that's a psychological thing. It's like, if I'm hands-free, and they don't see this folder and wondering, oh, okay, is he going to take notes? I just don't want it a part of my conversation and my interaction with them.
Awesome.
And there's no right or wrong. People go in all the time with their folders, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. That's just something that I've kind of just decided to do.
When you go in, how many pictures of the house do you take? And how much and videos do you do?
So like 3 years ago, maybe 5 pictures.
3 years ago?
Yeah, like a video.
Oh, 3. Yeah, okay.
3 months ago.
Ryan gets so wrapped up. By the way, Ryan's the most uncommon real estate guy ever.
on
He
the word.
doesn't remember any addresses. He only remembers people's names. Literally, it's almost like he has like a learning deficiency on address.
I practiced too. I try so
You
hard,
were-
but I cannot remember.
You were a
the
police officer for 12 years. I mean, it was all about address. I don't even know how this is possible. So
No, it's all about names, not addresses. You get an address that on your MDC and then you go to it, but names, you remember a name. That was the most important thing.
So Ryan remembers names and doesn't remember addresses and would go in and take the worst pictures of all time. We literally had to do several classes.
I'm the worst real estate.
I think Jeremy texted me, I don't know, 15 times, our disposition manager, that I had to like go with you. And it's been a lot better. But how many pictures, honestly? How many pictures?
I'll probably do like 50 to 60 pictures in a video.
What's important to take picture-wise?
So you want to get like multiple angles of each room, and then like concentrate on some of those big ticket items, as far like the kitchen, bathrooms,
Air conditioner, pool equipment, water heater, what
yeah.
applies?
Just knowing the year of those is probably the most important. Arizona, I mean, it's a little different. Like I will take a picture of the air conditioning unit if it's on the ground, just to kind of see the wear and tear, even if it's 5 years old, because you just don't know how much that thing's been running. But yeah, I mean, knowing the year of everything is probably the most important thing.
Yeah, it is. That's a great point, Ryan. And that's something that's popped up more and more and more, especially when markets get tighter or they're not just going bananas. Like ever since 2022, we've had more questions about the age of the roof, age of the air conditioner, age of pool equipment, because we're in Arizona. But I mean, across the country, it's different things. The big ticket items, you want to know the age, you want to take a picture of it, because they'll tell you it's 5 years old.
Yeah.
You take a picture of it and it's 17 years old. You know what I mean? A lot of homeowners don't know. I don't even know. I mean, maybe some of the things, but for the most part, I don't, I'm not, I'll give a guesstimate on stuff in my own house. So make sure that you verify that, because when a buyer goes out there and they're doing their walkthrough and then all of a sudden they have to add $10,000 for a air conditioning unit, they're taking 15 off their price, not 10.
Yep.
Right. Because they thought that you were trying to pull something fast on them, or that you were just ignorant to it or inexperienced. So you want to make sure that you get all of that information so that buyers can make smart decisions and that they come back to you again and again and again. Because if they buy a property and now it has $25,000 more in repair and renovation budget than they expected, they're going to blame you.
Yeah.
So
your reputation as a seller, wholesaler, and investor is really important when it comes to who's going to come back to you and trust you with properties.
Awesome. Last question, Ryan. Most important. Are the Raiders ever going to be good?
If this guy was back on it, yeah, it would absolutely. They would blow everybody out of the water. But until we get a quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, maybe, I don't know.
Could happen.
Yeah,
could happen. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Anyway, thank you, Ryan. Love you, buddy.
Guys. Good to see you.
Awesome. Ryan Thornton, everybody. Absolutely incredible. Going out there, locking up those deals. I'm going to go through these last 5 questions. I think that they're great. And then we'll close out the show. Great show. Thank you for the participation. We had over 100 people today. So obviously this really hit people where they were interested. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's an accurate sentence or not, but whatever. Daryl, hey, Brent, was Luke G also Luke Rotfold was originally on my team, and yeah, he did that $70K deal, and it was an awesome deal. He went out there, and the guy told him, if you give me what you bought, what I bought my house for in 1992, I'll sell it to you. And he's like, seriously? Why? And he's like, listen, you give me what I had, what I bought it for, I get my money back, I'm good with it. I'm already fine. Already, everything's taken care of. My wife might not be happy, but it's not her property. It's mine. So we got a property, made $72,000 in about 15 minutes. We went through that. Yep. Tips for new wholesalers. I just started cold calling and haven't gotten a lead. Aiden, you have to be around people doing this. Be around people doing this business. Be around people doing this business. I want you to go through your call recordings. If you can record in your state, Go through your call recordings and listen to them and see where you can improve, and then role play and practice, role play and practice, role play and practice. All right. It takes time to build the skill. Watch your tone of voice. Watch the way that you're reacting. You need to sound, you have 5 seconds to get the next 30 seconds in a call. So is your 5 seconds really crisp? Do you sound like a neighbor? Do you sound like a friend? Do you sound like somebody they went to high school with or worked with or whatever else? Right? Do you sound like somebody they've already know, like, and trust? That's really, really, really key. All right. Danae, how do you answer the objection? Like, how did you get my number? I looked it up online. Yeah, I found your number online. Oh, okay. Yeah, people don't care. They understand. So that's an easy one. Yeah, I found it online. I mean, if you want, I have a resource. It's called Deal Machine. They have all the phone numbers for every property that we're trying to get a hold of. We're really interested in buying a property in your area. Would you consider an offer on your property? Answer the question, ask a question, answer a question, ask a question. Absolutely critical. Confirm, approve, confirm, approve, confirm, approve, right? Dave, Brent, are your inbound leads all PPC or some SEO too? If so, what is the ratio? Thanks so much for the show every week. Thank you, Dave, for participating. All PPC. SEO is fine, but SEO takes a long time. You got to get it on a bunch of back pages. My team works on it, but that's a slow strategy. And really, to get a lot of, I mean, I think we're at 1.8, 1.9 million this year in just PPC. And to get that volume, you're not getting it from SEO. You're just not. The sponsored ones are first and then SEO. So I want to be able to control that. Guys, if you're interested, if you're ready for pay-per-click, talktopeople.com, talktopeople.com. We're the best. It's not even close. Not only that, but it's a mastermind. It's coaching. You get everything. You get everything that I've got. You get it if you become a PPC client. And we're going to be meeting 4 times every quarter next year here in this office for everybody that is a pay-per-click client. So if you're interested in that, definitely lock in now, because we only have a certain amount of spots in each major market. Last question. Ander, how do we stay consistent cold calling? You have to time block. It has to be sacred time, Ander. And you have to tie everything that you want financially to having conversations every single day with property owners. That's it. Either they're calling you or you're calling them. And if you don't have the budget for them to call you, you have to talk to them. You have to be proactive. You need to reach out to them. And so tie everything that you want financially. Have a dream board in front of you when you're making your calls. Have those things that you want to have, all your bucket list items on there. Have that stuff in front of you. Stand up, be in a well-lit room, be around people that are doing more than you. And then make it sacred time. You have to look at it, and you got to get your whole family to buy in. Everybody that needs to be involved, from 9 to 11, from 1 to 2, from noon to 2, from 5 to 7. Every day I'm going to be reaching out to grow my business. There's not a lot of barriers to entry except for your mindset. And your mindset gets strengthened with skills. Your skills get strengthened through repetition. Do the work. Do the work. And guys, if you're just joining us now, take a screenshot of this. This is what we talked about all day for the first part of the show. 10 no BS facts about wholesaling real estate. Number 1, wholesaling real estate is the lowest paid easy work and the highest paid hard work you can do in real estate. Number 2, people will say that you steal equity from uninformed homeowners. Understand the value that you're bringing to the community. Number 3, you have to work daily on removing self-imposed limits we place on ourselves. Erase the past. Number 4, every day be prepared to throw away your unqualified leads. Number 5, start a personal development program for yourself. Read more great books, surround yourself with people doing more than you, start a people reading program, and learn to have better self-talk. Number 6, knowledge equals confidence, ignorance equals fear. Number 7, develop a professional reputation in the community. Number 8, be loud. Find your 30 people that'll send you 1 deal a year. Number 9, internal pressure always beats external pressure. Batteries have to come included. Number 10, control emotions. Controlled emotions are an asset, where uncontrolled emotions are a liability. Luke, Alejandra, come on back in. Guys, we got Alejandra back. If you've been following the show, she had her beautiful baby, Leo. He popped out early and was a surprise, but he's healthy and robust. On behalf of Luke and Alejandra, we love you. Remember this, protect your health. Oh, keep your house clean, protect your health, and increase your value to the world. You'll live a fantastic life. I love you guys. We'll see you next week.